A Spokane man is arrested on rape charges.
Safe Walk continues its service for students.
And see how the Cougars fared against the Trojans with full highlights. Tonight, those stories and more as complete coverage of your local news starts right now. Good evening, I'm Megan Crenshaw.
And I'm Braulio Perez. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Spokane police arrested a man who pretended to be a police officer and allegedly raped a woman at Corbin Park Sunday morning. Police are reporting that 29-year-old Christopher Clow is facing first-degree rape, first-degree kidnapping, and first-degree criminal impersonation charges. The 19-year-old victim told officers she was walking near Monroe, Indiana, when she saw a couple being detained by Clow. She says Clow advised her it was an unsafe neighborhood and he should take her home. Detectives say Clow may have approached others in the community acting as a police officer, and they encourage those citizens to file police reports.
A California comedian arrested for allegedly raping a woman last spring will not be charged. The Whitman County Prosecutor's Office declined to pursue charges against comedian Clayton Thomas. Thomas was arrested last year after allegedly using a date rape drug to take advantage of a woman. He was in Pullman to perform at a Mom's Weekend comedy show. Whitman County Chief Deputy Prosecutor Byron Badirian says insufficient evidence forced him to decline prosecution.
Last month, the Daily Beast ranked WSU as the safest school in the Pac-10. ASWSU officials are doing their part to keep it that way. Walk safe. Try it. That's the slogan of ASWSU's Safe Walk program. And according to ASWSU Director of Student Life, Josh Hart, that's exactly what it helps students do.
Safe Walk is an escort service for our students here on campus. It operates on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturday nights to get students home safely or to and from destinations at night during times of highest risk.
Safe Walk volunteers range from members of WSU organizations.
I'm a member of Sigma Phi Epsilon.
To individual students, all simply trying to make a difference.
Safe Walk is Jessica.
Hart says the program is a great opportunity for students to gain volunteer hours.
It's great for them to have the opportunity to get together and serve their community, as well as the fact that they get community service hours through the Center for Civic Engagement.
Upon arriving for their shift, volunteers are briefed on Safe Walk policies before grabbing whistles, ID badges, and their hard-to-miss Safe Walk jackets. Hart says if you're interested in volunteering, head to the ASWSU office for more information. But if you were planning on walking by yourself this weekend, he has these words of advice.
Walk safe, always.
Safe Walk operates from 9 to midnight on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. To request a Safe Walk, call 509-335-WALK. Reporting for Cable 8 News, I'm Megan Crenshaw.
The Pullman Police Department participated in the National Take Back Day over the weekend. Saturday's event was aimed at highlighting the issue of prescription drug abuse and encouraging citizens to safely dispose of unused medication. Pullman Police Officer Aaron Brashear says leaving prescription drugs around the house can be dangerous because teenagers and children could access them. He encourages citizens to drop off their unused and unwanted medication at the police department's anonymous disposal box. The box is located at the department itself.
The weather was impressive over the weekend, but will it continue? I'm Cody Secker, and I'll have the answer in a 5-day forecast right after the break. Welcome back. The weather today in Pullman was quite sunny, 79 degrees with winds out of the southwest at 4 miles an hour. Tonight looks to be partly cloudy with lows of 53 and winds in the east to southeast at 5 miles an hour. For tomorrow, the forecast looks partly cloudy with highs of 77 degrees and lows of 52. Winds from the south at 15 miles an hour with sunrise set to be 6:45 in the morning and sunset to be at 6:30 at night. Looking at the weather across the state, Spokane looks to be very well with a high of 76 and a low of 55. Pullman with a high of 78 and a low of 53. Yakima with a high of 75 and a low of 50. Seattle over on the west side looks to be fine as Olympia looks to be great at 76 and a low of 62. And Seattle with 76 and a low of 64. Looking at our 5-day forecast, Wednesday looks to be pretty clear with highs of 77. Thursday even better with a high of 83. Friday and then going into the weekend is high 80s and low 70s, with the lows being in the high 40s to lower 50s.
WSU will create 2 new export centers to help small businesses access overseas markets. The university will fund the project with the Washington Export Assistance Program grant it received last week. The nearly $1.3 million grant is one of 6 that were awarded as part of the state export initiative. The export readiness centers will be established on the eastern and western sides of the state. They will be staffed with professional trade specialists who will help companies prepare to venture into international markets. Thanks, Cam. In a bit of a twist, Idaho's high unemployment rate is affecting those with jobs. Idaho Department of Labor spokesman Bob Fick says with 60,000 to 70,000 people out of work, employers feel no pressure to raise wages. Idaho's median wage went up 11 cents an hour to $14.43 in 2009. Nationally, the median wage increased by 38 cents to $15.95 from spring 2008 to spring 2009. The unemployment rate for the state was 8.9% in August.
University of Idaho President Dwayne Nellis delivered a State of the University address today. Nellis laid out a 10-point plan for the academic year. His top priority, stabilizing the university's budget. Nellis hopes to get statewide initiative SJR 101 passed. The initiative asks voters to allow the U of I to charge tuition. Its passage would give U of I administrators more flexibility with the university budget. Nellis is entering his second year as president of the university.
The new Dean of Education at Washington State University is making big plans. A.G. Rudd plans to make changes to research grants and campus specialization to produce better educators. Rudd says the benefits for Washington are better prepared teachers and administrators who can lead school systems well. Rudd says he wants to focus on bringing in more research that can help further develop the college. Despite WSU's latest budget cut of $11.2 million, Rudd sees this as an exciting challenge. Rudd says this is an opportunity to reinvent and focus on what the college does best.
The WSU football team looks for a win in their first conference matchup of the season, and the Vandal football team goes on the road. I'll have those stories and more when we return to sports. Stay tuned.
Go to jail for a gun crime, and your family serves a sentence with you.
The Cougar football team opened up Pac-10 play yesterday, with many thinking the sanctioned USC Trojans were ripe for an upset. But at 3-0, the Trojans would tend to disagree. Take a look at the highlights. The game begins with some trickeration as James Montgomery pitches to Jeffrey Solomon, who heaves it to the end zone and finds Jared Carstetter for the touchdown. In the Paul Wolf era, that is the first time the Cougars led over an FBS opponent in regular time. But would they maintain that lead? Very next play, USC Stanley Havili gets the handoff, runs to the outside, and 1 missed tackle, 2 missed tackles, 3 missed tackles, 4 missed tackles as he makes his way 59 yards and quiets the Cougar crowd quickly. And just 2 plays after that, Jeff Toole drops back and gets picked off by Nikel Roby, who'd return it to the house, and you could hear a pin drop in Martin Stadium with how deflated that WSU crowd was. Cougs down 14 and threatening. Toole throws the fade route to Carstetter. He gets both feet in for the score, but Carstetter may have been the lone bright spot for the Cougs as the WSU team would lose the game with a final score of 50-16. Now, our neighbors to the west also struggled over the weekend. Coach Rob Akey and his UI Vandals fell to Colorado State on Saturday. Despite a strong Vandals third quarter, they received a penalty in the fourth for having too many men on the field with just seconds left. That penalty put the Rams in field goal position where just before the clock expired, they nailed the field goal and won the game by 2 points. Despite the loss, UI quarterback Nathan Enderle continued his strong senior campaign, completing 25 of his 30 passes for nearly 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Seattle Seahawks find their saving grace in their kick returner. With a 27-20 victory over the San Diego Chargers, Leon Washington became a hero in the Emerald City. In his first season with the Seahawks, Washington, a running back, has averaged just under 10 yards of total rushing a game. He became a household name yesterday after amassing 200 return yards en route to 2 touchdowns, one of which clinched the game. Now, to put that into perspective, just 2 plays, Washington had only 20 fewer yards on offense than quarterback Matt Hasselbeck did the entire game. Now, that's all the stories we have today in sports, but ladies, stay tuned for a product that can turn that bad boy into your Prince Charming.
It may not be a love potion, but nasal spray might actually make your guy sweeter. In a study conducted at Mount Sinai School of Medicine and Columbia University, men were tested on their social competence after given a nasal squirt of oxytocin or a placebo. Oxytocin is known to regulate pro-social behavior and is said to be responsible for everything from bonding with babies to enhancing better performance.
A full moon is often associated with shifts in tides and insanity, but it turns out it is also good for brewing beer. In Perez, Belgium, Roger Collier says the full moon speeds up the fermentation process, which adds extra punch to the beer without making it harsh.
That's all the news we have for you tonight.
Tune in every weeknight at 7 and 10 o'clock. Have a great evening.